Morning.
All righty, we're live now. Hello, everybody. We're 1 minute past. It's a little, how could we? But here we are. We're all live, and welcome, everybody. Excited to be here today. I'll be driving the slides. Please use the chat with for the Q&A. I'll be trying to catch all of the questions. And my name is Elena. I'll be your host today. And let me take you first through agenda quickly, and then I'll give floor to main guests, to our speakers today. Here we go. We have 1 hour. We'll try not to stay longer than 1 hour, but who knows? This morning we had to stay over, I think, about 4 or 5 minutes. We have 1 hour and a lot to talk about. And at the end, we'll have about 10-15 minutes for Q&A, but I'll try to maybe pick up some of the questions during the call today as well. I wanted to kind of kick off with a few words about the Data Center Academy, because this series of the events are kind of supported by the Data Center Academy. And the mission of the Data Center Academy is to ensure every person has access to technology skills and opportunity to pursue in-demand jobs in a changing world. So we organize these virtual events, the series of the virtual events, with a specific purpose in mind, obviously, to create those opportunities for attendees to learn more about the data center industry, the jobs, the career opportunities, maybe demystify some of the assumptions and actually see the people in those jobs and hear from them and their journeys and their stories. The Data Center Academy is a program which is built on 3 pillars. So we partner with local schools and community colleges in the data center communities where we operate, and we support their students with enhanced curriculum, the scholarships, setting simulation labs, facilitating mentorship opportunities for students, and providing work experience through internships and apprenticeships depending on the country. Now we have 5 amazing speakers today, and they didn't fit into one slide, so I'll go by bits and pieces. So we have Robert, Taron, and Nicole today, and then we also have Ruhula and Edward too. Now that was really fast from me, and hopefully everybody understood everything that I said. Before we jump into details, I wanted to kind of start from a little bit of zooming out a little bit. Talk you through a bigger picture, like the data center life cycle. If I was an applicant, if I was somebody looking for a job, I would like to know where this job sits in the organization. So it all starts with the whole data center life cycle starts with planning. Where will the new data center be built? Then the land acquisition, buying this piece of land, designing what the data center will look like, procurement of everything that is needed for the data center inside and outside, the whole construction and build out, and then we can turn the lights on so that the operations team can actually keep it running and operate. So we'll be now zooming into the operations team. And beware, the next slide is full of acronyms, just as we like it. So here we go. It's kind of a chart of acronyms. And these are the majority of the roles that are typically present in a Microsoft data center. We will look into particularly these ones, DCT and DIAT today, so Data Center Technician and Data Center Inventory and Asset Technician. And I suppose if you have any questions about the other ones, we could answer them in the chat. Well, I'll try to pick up those questions and answer them in the chat. And with that, I will pass it on to Robert, I think is the next one. Yes, there we go. Pass it on to you. Who are you? Where are you based? Introduce yourself, and let's talk about your day in life.
Thank you, Elena. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Glad to be a part of this. Let's start the day off with a great quote. Be yourself, because everyone else is taken. I strongly believe in this. I try to bring my own A game every day in my job, and give my own twist to it. Because everybody has their own way of an addition to the team. My journey here started a little bit weird. I've done a lot of different jobs, but actually, funnily enough, it all stockpiled into skills that I require for my current job that I'm using. I started out as a night auditor, manager on duty in 4- and 5-star hotels. Where I learned a lot of hospitality. The customer is king. So in this case, in my job, for example, I'm using this a lot because I see the other DCTs and the other teams that I'm working with as my clients, basically. This also touches upon the job after that, which was service advisor at Mercedes-Benz. Yeah, again, a lot of customer contact, a little bit more technical. I had to get out of my comfort zone and get to know a little bit of automotive parts, which I was not familiar with before. So this also touches upon that. And then I became junior store manager and rolled into the actual store management, which got me into contact with people manager, working in bigger teams, scheduling, ordering, making sure that all the products are available, and reorganizing, obviously, my presentations. This ties into what I'm doing daily on a daily basis in our Amsterdam campus. And that's ordering different parts, devices, making sure that every DCT has their parts available to actually perform their job and keep the cloud running. But COVID hit, and I sadly had to get out of the store management business. And I thought, yeah, I've got I'm a gamer. I've got a passion for IT. Why not give a crash course a chance? So I went for an IT professional crash course, got some certificates. I got SQL, and which I love, but I was more in the social side of IT, basically. So I got myself Scrum and Scrum 1, Scrum 2, and PSPO as certificates as well. And soon after, I actually somebody reached out on LinkedIn to me to see if I was interested in an IT job at Microsoft Datacenter as a contractor. So I started out as a contractor in Microsoft, and luckily enough, I can say after 10 months, I applied internally and I got hired and been there since, basically, running the cloud smoothly, day by day. Yeah, so this is a little bit of my backstory in work experience. Furthermore, yeah, I'm just a regular dude. I really love motorcycling when the weather is good. In the Netherlands, we don't have perfect weather every time, but it's mostly rainy. And something that I'm really, really, really proud of. Actually, I bought a house a couple of weeks ago, and sitting in it right now. So these things are, it's life is going. Thank you all. Life is rolling very, very smoothly right now. I'm enjoying everything. Microsoft's treating me well in this regard, and that's also the reason why I'm actually reaching out to you and to support you as well in joining this journey, possibly. So feel free to reach out. Everybody's posting their LinkedIn's on here. We're welcome to give tips, or maybe look after some of your resumes or something. Let me know. I'm open for that stuff.
Thank you, Robert. Before we move on, do you mind just walking us maybe through your regular day? When does it start? When does it end? What do you do? Without getting too much into details, but generally like a calm day, okay? A day without anything happening. So a calm, normal day.
Calm, normal day.
If you have any like those.
Yeah, I do have those. I do have those. Yeah. A regular day can really, really differ every time. It's so diverse to be a data center inventory and asset technician. One day I can be working on the storages. One day I'm just receiving new parts and working on warranty orders. Purchase orders, receiving, unpacking cables, unpacking devices. And the other day I can be on a forklift the whole day or half of the day, and I can be driving around pallets of devices or other important equipment to make sure that everybody can do their job. And some days I'm only behind the laptop working in the system, making sure that all the inventory is up to date, basically. So it's really diverse. As a DIAT technician, you're like in the center. You're one of the backbone people for the data center, which is a lovely place to be because I'm a very social guy. I like to be in contact with everybody, and I like to be I like to be of help to everybody. So my previous experiences really tie into that because I'm really service oriented. I have the customer focused mindset. So this is one of my regular days. Yeah, it can run very smoothly, but sometimes it's very time consuming. So you don't know when you're driving with your pallets, you don't know what you're gonna see next. You know, when I enter a new building and they're requesting me, hey, something like this also needs to be picked up, or can you help me with this or that? Then I rush to help. There's no issue. So it really depends.
Thank you, Robert. All righty. Stay with us until the end. We'll have the Q&A at the very end of the call. Let's move on and have Darren. Hi, Darren. Floor is yours.
Yeah, good morning, y'all. Definitely, my name is Theron Smalls. Currently in Richmond, Virginia, and truly, let me go ahead and shake off these jitters because I'm excited. You guys have no idea what a wonderful opportunity this is. November 2024, I was just like you guys, sitting in on a live event, and now I'm actually able to speak in front of you. So just to give you a little background about myself, I used to work. I got a lot of warehouse background. So I used to work for Niagara Bottling. I came in as a a shipping loader, desk clerk. Basically, we checked in trailers. They come in back into a door, and the whole warehouse was actually AI driven. So it was guided by LGVs, which is laser guided vehicles. They would lift a pallet up, a pallet of water, put it into the trailer. So I got to really monitor a lot of automation early within my career. Um, During that tenure, I was there for 4 years. During the last 2 years, I kind of decided to make that leap of faith and dive into IT. There was a lot of things going on in my personal life and work-wise that just didn't really align with what I had going on, and I wanted to achieve more. I wanted to put myself out there more. So I kind of decided on a whim to move to Atlanta, Georgia. My sister, she was out there. She had a house, of course, and she let me stay with her. During that time, I basically was on the ground, like ground running. I was doing Uber Eats, DoorDash, Instacart, just trying to figure out the layout of Atlanta, Georgia, and keeping myself busy and motivated, all while still trying to make this change into IT. Um, During the time, basically, I've reached out to a lot of temp agencies and unemployment agency in Georgia, and I was able to get hired on the Empire Distribution, which was just an order filler. Real lax work, just putting bottles inside of a case and shipping it down the line. But I appreciate this time because I was able to enroll into the Microsoft Data Center Academy program through Southside Virginia Community College. And I was even lucky. I won't say everybody would have this little boost, but I was able to do it online. And that really helped me out, especially since I was in Atlanta, Georgia. But just being serious about this and letting them know, no, this is what I want to do. Like, Microsoft is on my prayer board. Like, these are full circle moments that I was seeing and witnessing and able to just build up on. So I was an order filler at Empire Distribution for at least, I want to say 6 months, 5 to 6 months, because that's how long the program really is. At the end of it, I got my CompTIA certification, and I was looking for my first job in the IT. I landed with WePro as an administrator, and basically we just put firmwares on the laptop and shipped them out. Little lackluster work. I found it unfulfilling as an IT, and what I used this opportunity as working under WePro just to see what I want from an IT company, what I want from my career, what I really want moving on forward. Because I don't want to be stagnant, and Microsoft is not a stagnant environment at all. And that's why I really love it. Every day you're learning something new. Every day you're really growing. Every day you're meeting people, you're making those connections. And I really want to emphasize how important connections are. Connections, 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 especially on LinkedIn. Like, I didn't get here on my own. I promise you. And I think everybody would say the same. We did not get here by ourselves. So yeah, after working at WePro for at least a year and 3 months, I believe, A lot of the work pretty much died down from July up into November. So it was like we wasn't getting any work. I was going home unsatisfied. I just needed more. So the first spring event, and don't get me, what I'm saying, don't get me lying, but I believe it was in November. And Elena, she had just started, and I could be wrong too. She just started really making the group and really putting her all into this Microsoft Data Center Academy group. And so when she sent the link saying, "Hey, we got virtual events lined up," I signed up immediately because I knew I wanted to make this change into this world. My first data center event, I put my LinkedIn in the chat. And what was crazy, I was able to build upon that. So I just kind of screen recorded the video. And, what I'm saying, it was some comments about, saying this is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to put your LinkedIn in the chat, make those connections, reach out, because again, LinkedIn is a powerful tool. I promise you, LinkedIn will get you the job. I don't know. Don't quote me, but I truly feel like that because that was my journey. So yeah, in January 2025, the top of the year, I took that post. I took that video screen recording and I posted it basically saying, "Hey, I'm declaring. I say a declaration post, but I'm saying I want to be visible. I want to put myself out there because I want to be immersed into this world." A month later, I was contacted by all three of the staffing agencies that hire from Microsoft. And I want to give a big shout out, what I'm saying, if you guys are looking for them, Inside Global is number one for me. Like, I love the people at Inside Global, my recruiters, my hiring managers, my account managers, they all worked alongside of me, especially when it was coming the time for me to relocate back to Richmond, Virginia. Um, my spouse at the time, she worked for a company that had a branch out in Atlanta, Georgia, and they basically had to shut down. So we knew it was going to happen. We just didn't expect it to happen so soon. I thought I would have more time working as a vendor at Microsoft in Atlanta. I thought I was going to have at least another year just to build up the skills and hopefully get full time out there. Um, Unfortunately, it didn't happen. We had to come back home, but the connections, and again, the connections I made between my manager, between different departments. I'm talking CBRE, IES, the white gloves, the site services, everybody in that building you need to shake hands and talk to. And I say it's very necessary because once you really gather those connections and you walk around, they'll be asking like, "Yo, are you FTE or are you a vendor?" Like they'll be confused that you're still a vendor because you're just walking around and you're making those connections and you're doing what you're supposed to do. I'll go into a day to day real quick. I'm about to start rambling. I'm trying to do good, but I'll go into a quick day to day with my vendor position when I was in Atlanta. I got to actually work alongside DCPMs. Like I know them by name, Victoria. Um, I just it was just an absolutely love. I'm glad Microsoft shows you that we have growth advocates because no matter who I talk to, they were pushing for me to grow. They were pushing for me to get back home and still get the Microsoft. They were pushing for me to grow within the company, within that building at Atlanta. So day to day, I work with alongside DCPMs. We're either looking for POs, we're looking for devices, we're looking for cables, or what I'm saying, the best day, the day I love, and if you got your volume up, go ahead, turn it down. Racks, love a good rack day. I promise you, you'll get used to hearing that, and you'll get used to hearing it from me. Cause, and we Oh, okay, thank you. Sorry. Yeah, I'm getting over. I knew it. I knew it. That's why I had a timer too. But racks rolling days, regular days, you'll go, you might see 20 to 40 racks a day, and that's just basically you walking them to the colo, just making sure everything's staged and right. But day to day, that's just what I do. Some days is different. I know as an FTE now, my days are different because we have a lot of programs going on. Like right now, October is Give Month for Richmond, and so we do a lot of volunteering. And I know that was the first thing I wanted to do as soon as I got FTE, and I reached out immediately to my director. I said, "Hey, I'm in a position now where I can give." And I know it's not about me no more. Like I need to give, I need to serve the community better. How can I do that? And as soon as I reached out to my manager, they sent me links. They sent me stuff to do. And I love that about this company because this is the first company where I swear there are growth advocates. Like no matter who I reached out to, they pushed for me. They pushed for me. Like they gave me the tools I needed to succeed. And that's why like I really love this company. Like Robert said, like I'm just happy, like I'm just blessed, like I'm forever grateful. I got the offer letter in July, right? The July 14th, to be honest, right? When we got back like 2 weeks after we got to Richmond. And then my first day with Microsoft was August. And like I'll be here for a month or 2 months now. And like thank you. You know what I'm saying? Thank you for this opportunity. Again, Elena, I had reached out to Elena and I didn't even know I was gonna be able to speak today. And she said, you know what, we could throw you in. You got 6 minutes. I was like, yes, I just need 6 minutes, boss. Please. I just want to speak for 6 minutes. And that's what I'm saying. Like these growth advocates, they're here. So this is where you want to be. Okay. Thank you again.
I
That's really all
absolutely
I
love your
got.
story. This is amazing. I mean, honestly, like I'm not crying, you're crying, but honestly, this is great. And I don't know, I'm just scared now that my fellow recruiters from Microsoft will be reaching out to you and like, hey, you might be a great recruiter now. And like, hold on a second.
Listen. I love the
You
opportunities. And
know?
like, and the last thing I want to leave is like, when I left Atlanta, I left you leave a mark. Like you speak to trainers that just travel around, and you would really leave a mark. They were still speaking about me in Atlanta. They were saying, "Hey, Teron," they didn't want to let you go. They did not want to let you go. And so like, that's why it just feels so good to be here. And I want that for everybody in this call. So reach out if y'all need help, especially if you're in the Atlanta, Virginia, or Phoenix area. I have connections. I can get you the information you really need.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Stay with us until the end with for the questions. Right. Let us move to Nicole. Nicole, you here? You on the call?
Yes, over here. Hello.
Awesome.
Can everyone
Hello.
hear me?
Yep.
Perfect. Hi, guys. Welcome. Thank you all for taking the time to come and hear us speak, essentially. I think that you can gain a lot of knowledge from what we have to say. And just to start off on my side, so I am Nicole. I come from South Africa initially, and now I'm in the Netherlands. My career started off as a personal assistant and a receptionist straight out of school. With no background or studying or degrees behind my name. And I'm actually proud to say that because I've achieved a lot in my life without them. And that's purely based on mindset, purely based on having a goal and working towards it. From my personal assistant time, that was over 3 years. And essentially, I then moved from South Africa to the Netherlands. When I eventually arrived in the Netherlands, I started in hospitality, which is obviously one of the biggest sort of industries that you can go into, and it's very, very easy to go into. So I thought that was a good starting point for myself, since I do enjoy talking to people, helping people, involved in guest relations, and these types of things. So I thought it was to the T. But I've always had a very technical upbringing. My father being in IT, my mother as well. So it's very technical, let's put it that way. So my technical knowledge comes from those around me and the research that I've done. Throughout my experience within hospitality, I was unfortunately affected by the COVID. So I got a free, nice vacation back to South Africa, for about 9 months, where I then was like, you know what do I want to do? Where do I want to grow? What goals do I have? And then someone reached out and said, hey, do you think IT recruitment would be interesting? And personally, I was like, well, I've never done recruitment. I have no idea, but could be. It's something new, something I could learn from. I mean, it's in IT, something that's interesting for me. So I took it and I said, you know what? I'm in. Let's do this. So 3 years from there, I gained a lot of knowledge within the industry on the IT technical side, but I was also involved in a lot of trading. So I was working with a lot of trading companies trying to fill their network positions, their software engineering positions, but a lot of hardware and software engineering knowledge was given to me and passed on to me by those that I've come into contact with, whether it was people looking for a position or whether it was companies with specific requirements. So I learned quite a bit in that, and I have applied multiple times to Microsoft. I was rejected twice before I finally was accepted. So it's about trying and not giving up, because a no doesn't mean no forever. It just means no for now. And until you can realize, okay, with that no, what am I able to do to make it a yes. So with that, all the times that I had applied to Microsoft prior was way before I had gotten any IT sort of knowledge from my recruiting side. So it's super essential to basically see, okay, where do I want to go and what sort of things am I able to do in order to get there? Whether it's small things, for instance, you want to own your own shoe store one day. The best place to start is working in one as a cashier to know how it works, how it runs. You learn the basics and you build a foundation in order to grow. So for me, IT recruitment was my foundation, where I was able to set the stepping stones in order to get an interview with Microsoft. That being said, I then got an interview, and that was actually for asset and inventory, not even as a data center technician. So I opted into that one. I thought it fit quite closely with my set of skills. And I also grew up in business with my parents owning their own business. So I've been very entrepreneurial from a very young age. So for me, I was like, hey, I know inventory, I know how to speak with people, I know how to receive things and send things, you know, so I'm pretty sure I can do that. But when I had the conversation, Microsoft saw more in me. They saw a lot more of my IT experience based on how I speak and not based on what I've learned. Because as much as I have IT experience, that means really nothing if you have no motivation to do anything with it. You know, instead, I had the motivation. I had the mindset that I'm coming in, no matter what you give me, I'm learning. Like, doesn't matter, let's go. And then I got my position within the site service team, which is comprised of not only break fix and fixing servers kind of job, but also deploying new sets of servers, then decommissioning and removing old sets of servers. You know, so it's a very wide and broad sort of, I say, field per se, because we're able to hop around and see, okay, who needs the most help? Pretty much like a superhero with a lot more cables and a lot less capes. But, I mean, that being said, it's okay. I'm happy with that because now I can say that I've been validated for all tiers of break fix. So I pretty much know my way around the data center as well as some servers, and can sort of spot some issues already from like the break room, but that's only if the coffee's strong enough. Other than that, we have to go there and see what the problem is. But besides that, that's my day-to-day job, working, you know, deploying, either break fixing, you know, we'd prefer not to break, but to fix. And then, of course, decommissioning. But I've also been able to join other initiatives, such as what Tyron had said on Give Month, the ability to give back to people within your community and those that are not even in your community, but around you, because life is a give and get situation, regardless of who it is. Once you start giving a lot more, you will see a lot more people will be giving towards you. And once you set that standard and everyone can be like, you know what, Nicole did this once for me, you know what, I'm going to do that for her. You set a standard of we appreciate each other, we are there for each other, and it's one team, one Microsoft, not, hey, Nicole in her position. So it's super, super important to just make sure that you are super focused on your goals, super focused on where you want to go, and don't let anything stop you. Like I said, a no is not no forever, but no for now. But you need to be willing to find out why is it a no for now? And how can I make it a yes? This is the mindset switch we need to have in order to accomplish things and to grow ourselves, whether it's work or in our personal lives. Where there is a no, there is definitely a yes. You just need to find out how. How can I make that a yes? Besides that, I've been really happy to, it's not like blinking lights and wires all the time for me. I also was able to do something that I thoroughly enjoy, and that's host a data center clash soccer tournament with our colleagues, which I find extremely fun. A lot of friendly competition, questionable goalkeeping, but really great. And it really, yeah, I can say that our team won. Haha, whoop whoop. But that's just me being a proud soccer player my whole entire life and bringing that to something where I didn't think I could. You don't think that coming in as a data center technician that you would have the opportunity to do something that you love other than your job. You have that opportunity to grow. You have that opportunity to give more. It's just ask the right questions, do the right things. And Microsoft provides a lot on learning. We have a whole team dedicated to learning. So it's not essential that you come in with a lot of knowledge because not everyone knows everything. People are specialized in certain areas, and that is okay. Because with that being said, you can still grow even though someone knows more than you because you have something to learn. But other than from my side, I have marked my 1 year at Microsoft, hoping for many more. So I hope that I will see a lot of you guys in the future, then joining us and being a part of our teams and our Microsoft community in general. And that's all from my side. Thank you very much. And yeah, ask some questions towards the end. I'm happy to answer.
Thank you, Nicole. I just put in the chat that I still insist it's a football, not a soccer, but fine, whatever. That's amazing. That's a really, really amazing journey. I was also putting here, like, I'm not advocating for a recruitment career, but I think that's a really kind of, whenever I'm from recruitment as well, and I've been in recruitment for more than 20 years, that kind of a role allows you to learn about all of the other jobs before you kind of make a move, right? It allows you to just know what's going on there and what the hiring managers are looking for. So not advocating, but just saying. Stay with us until the end. And let me move to Rahula. There you go, floor is yours.
Hello. Good morning. Good morning. I am in the central side here in America, in the US. So I'm not sure if it's in the morning for you guys or what time currently is, but it's morning for me. So good morning, everybody. Just want to get some engagement real quick. If everyone could write or drop where they're from in the comments, I would love to see where everybody is currently right now. That's really cool. Just want to say thank you to Angela and awesome, that's nice. And Elena for coordinating all of this. This is amazing. I just want to say thank you guys for also reaching out to me and asking me for my own input. Um, I'm getting distracted by where everybody is. So this is amazing. I love that everybody's engaging. But I just want to say I love that everybody had something to add. Tyrone, really loved your story. I hire a lot of vendors that come into our space that want to learn. I love to see the hunger. I love to see the growth mindset. I mean, Microsoft's all about the growth mindset. Microsoft is all about the coaching and making sure that they want more than where they are. When someone tells me like, hey, this is where I want to be, how can I get there? I love removing those obstacles. And this is a conversation you need to have with leadership as a whole. Don't expect your leader to do the work for you. This is your story. This is your journey. Take accountability for your own life. Take your own accountability for your own story. And I love when vendors come up to me and tell me what they want, where they want to be, how could they get there. And that's the steps I try to achieve for them. And also I'm gonna go ahead and steal from Robert's opening. He started with a quote. So I'm gonna go ahead and start mine with a quote as well too. I would say that one thing that has helped me in my journey in life as well.
Whoever is not on mute, could you please mute yourself? Thank you. Otherwise, I'll go and do it myself.
But yeah, who I'll say is success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. In order for you to be successful, and I think this is something that's echoed throughout everybody's speech so far, if you want to be successful, make sure that you're putting achievable goals right in front of you. If you want something, make sure that you have the end goal where it is and just work backwards from there. But having said that, who is this guy talking? Who is this who's this person in front of me? My name is Ruhola Oluwamayowa Motusurayo Musa Shiro. Honestly, if you guys can say that very fast, I will give you a virtual cookie, but you can call me Ruhola. I am a DIAM, which is a data center inventory asset manager. I pretty much handle the supply chain. Anything that comes into our data center, I'm the first one to hear about it. Anything that leaves our data center, like decoms, mails, well, not just any mails, but things that helps with the operation and stuff like that. I'm also the first one to know about it, make sure that we're tracking it. Big on safety, big on security. You want to make sure that people are coming in here safely and people are leaving here the same exact way. And also my location is also here in Texas. I was actually going to wear a cowboy hat, but I was like, that's kind of too much. Let me just pipe down. So I decided to wear a shirt that's all about Lone Star because that's what we are here in Texas. But what's my story? I went to uni over here in Louisiana. It's called Southeastern University, which was focused heavily on supply chain and international affairs. And my goal was to work in trade, actually. So I wanted to work with the government. I see that there's a lot of opportunity in Africa, which is my origin, Nigeria specifically, and over in the South, in Mexico, that's where we get most of our racks from. That's where we do a lot of trade with. So I wanted to be in those seats and make those decisions. So I studied international and supply chain to combine them together. Um, but during COVID, a lot of things changed, of course. I still finished my degree, but I had an internship position as an accountant and I lost my job. And kind of like a funny story, a friend of mine, he came over to my apartment and he was like, "Hey, Raul, I lost my job. I only have $50 in my bank account. I only had like $100 in my bank account." And I was like, I don't know how we're going to pay rent. I don't know how we're going to figure this out. Like, COVID is horrible. Like it was a very drastic shift. And I think one thing about being in supply chain spaces is like we love to solve problems. The harder it is, the better and more exciting it is for us. So we came up with an idea, and this is, I mean, if you're a great speaker or someone that knows how to persuade people and negotiate, jump into this. I won't consider it lying, but I'll consider it as forward thinking. So I went over to a Walmart warehouse, and I came up to the director and I was like, "Hey, I'm noticing that you guys are having a very, very high turnover rate, and I can help you guys with that. If I clean your warehouses for you for 24 hours, I'll do that for an entire month free of charge. I have a company. At the time I didn't have a company. I didn't even have anything. It was just me standing over there with just pure confidence, and my friend in the back room just nodding his head and giving me a thumbs up. And the director at the moment, Walmart was going through this situation where they were running out of toilet paper, they were running out of supplies in for customers to consume. And if you know anything about supply chain, you have to plan for these things. You plan for the forecasting, you plan for the demanding, you plan for all of those kind of situations. So the amount of consumption that the customers were taking was not matching the manufacturing, the production that was coming in from the warehouses, and people were getting sick. So those warehouses were not pushing those forward to the stores. So it was a lot of holes and gaps. So me coming in there, letting them know, I know there's a problem here. I can help you fix this part of the problem that perhaps it could fix other part of the problem, at least getting workers in. He jumped right in. He was like, "Yes, here's a check. Make things happen." So I used my college and everybody who had lost their job, and I proposed to them, "I can give you guys a job. Just show up to this building and just wipe everything down. That's all you have to do. Your existence right now is just to wipe this building down." So we actually turned over, and a lot of people were showing back to work. They were not sick anymore. We're reducing the bacteria that was the virus that was going on. And the guy liked me so much, and he was like, "Hey, I don't know what your degree is, but I want to give you an internship position here in Walmart, and I want you to do a rotation." So I gave the job or the company, my quote unquote company, to my friend, and he was the one who continued that cleaning company while I started my actual career at Walmart as an intern. I learned a lot of things about management, leadership, recruiting, HR, outbound, inbound, import, but more in the local sense. Then Amazon reached out to me. They were like, "Hey, we see the work that you're doing. We got a recommendation from your director over in the Walmart. We would like to give you an opportunity to come over to Texas and move over to San Marcos or close to Austin area, and give you an area manager position." So I became a manager. I was managing about 180 people. Honestly, learning opportunity. Working with people is such a interesting scope. You work with people who are from very dangerous backgrounds, especially in warehouses, and you work with people who are extremely brilliant, even more intelligent than you. Knowing that how to communicate and knowing how to be in each one of these spaces is very crucial. Some spaces where some people will just get at your face and they'll curse you out. They're very argumentative. How do you control framing? How do you control conflicts? Are you a level-headed person? Are you internally complete where you don't have to project? All those things kind of test your ability. That's something I learned over in Amazon as well. After a while, I started growing within Amazon. I felt like I was getting a roadblock. Reached out to Microsoft, got an opportunity as a DIAM here. I've been here for a year and some change, probably a year and a half. Love the opportunity. My boss is amazing. He's always pushing me to the next stage. Every time I ask him questions, he's never hard. He's never scared of the difficult conversations. Conversation about what's my next steps, what do I need to do, where do I need to be at? This is where I want to be at. How can I get there? All that kind of stuff. He's always blunt, military guy. So you know he's going to tell you as a straight arrow. There's no fluff in any of the stories. So I love that. And I think that's what every leader should be. I call it the trickle-down effect. This is something that Reagan said in the politics, the politician Reagan back in the 90s. He called it the trickle-down diplomacy. I stole that term. I call it the trickle-down effect. Whatever happens in the top, from leadership, my boss's boss, if they're very positive, they have good structure, they have supportive systems, whatever the situation is, it trickles down all the way to the technicians, to the vendors. It trickles down all the way down. So if something is not working well or people are not communicating up in the top, it creates disorder or disorganization in the bottom as well. So having that good support system with my boss and my boss's boss and all the way to the top, I really do see that trickle down effect happen to my team. My team feels a lot of clarity. My team knows they feel comfortable reaching out. There's an open door policy. So being in a leadership space, I think creating a space where people feel like they can be vulnerable without judging them or being vulnerable with ideas that they're not so sure it might work, but they do believe in something that could be pushed forward. I think that's always an open door behavior to let them win. When it comes to progression, when it comes to skills, mindset, that in order for you to thrive in this role, I say experience. Definitely, Microsoft has a lot of opportunity for experience. There's learning abilities. I think we do own LinkedIn. LinkedIn has learning in there for you, so you can use that for trying to get yourself well versed. You guys who are in actually Microsoft as well, they actually have this thing called coffee chats. It's a way where you can get a mentor or a mentee kind of setup, where if you're looking into a new space or you're interested in a space, you can get a mentor who's either a director, honestly, all the way up. You know, it doesn't matter who it is. If they're willing to train you or coach you and they see potential in you, there's an opportunity for you to hone your own talents as well, too. So don't just focus on where you are right now. Ask yourself, as I mentioned earlier, that quote, success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. Ask yourself, after I'm done here, what's the next thing I want to achieve? What's the next thing I want to achieve? And you just keep on progressing, small steps in order for you to climb down mountains. Next thing is education. And I don't mean education as a 4-year degree, going to college, all of that. I mean education as constantly educating yourself on the next thing. Microsoft is a changing, dynamic flow. You could come into the data center, and all of you guys can contest to this. You could have a list of everything that you want to get done, and you would not touch a single one of that because you have to put out fires all day, every day. Like, tell me I'm wrong. You know, like it's a things are always changing. But educate yourself and knowing how to talk to people, knowing how to negotiate, knowing how to handle projects, knowing how to see the bigger picture of what we do actually really in this data center. Don't just focus on the narrow perspective. Look at the whole scope. It's a bigger picture that we're moving into. If you go back to this slide, it talks about the planning all the way to the decom. There's a whole story. Read the story and understand what the trajectory of that looks like. Mentorship, as I mentioned, coaching, learn from your peers, learn from people who are the subject matters experts. Just want to make sure I'm good on time. Sorry, I do talk a lot. And also for like supply chain, we have certifications. My certification right now is Six Sigma. It's a Japanese Lean Sigma of how to be very efficient in your day-to-day life. I'm not trying to say I'm OCD or anything, but this stuff is premium when it comes to like being efficient in your personal life too. Like my kitchen is so set up that I don't have to move around a lot because I've made it so efficient to the point that it's like premium. And also I put that into my working environment. And also I just completed taking the PMP. Extremely hard test, but it focuses on how to work with people. It focuses on how to understand the process from beginning to end. And also it focuses on your environment, how to communicate with shareholders, stakeholders, and people who are contributing into these spaces that honestly, we benefit from. We have stocks in Microsoft. So our wins are their wins and their wins are our wins. So it's a circle. We're all one way in another connected. Let's see. What I've learned in this space, I would say is effective communication. Over communicate if you need to, and then ask questions. And I would say lean into conflicts. Conflicts are expected. Don't try to avoid it. Don't try to sidestep it. Put it under the rug, whatever. In here in the US, at least on the far west area, there's this saying that when a storm comes, the bisons run to the storm. So look at conflict as a storm and look at yourself as the bison. At some point, you need to run into that storm, address it head on, and that's how you earn respect. That's how people know that, hey, this person is very structured. They know how to handle situations in very, very spaces. Look into those things, and also you can learn about it. Not everybody's born with that kind of skill. I mean, I learned it. I mean, sometimes I was very reactive because I was just trying to get an answer out or a statement out. Learn about these things, and that's where like the education comes in. Constantly keep improving the weekends about your character or yourself to keep on strengthening things that you could push to the next step. All right, where did I do? Okay, day in the life. Let me just jump into that. So day in the life, I come in at 7 a.m. in the morning. I have my daily things, kind of give my team my priorities. Hey, we have racks coming in, we have PRDs, we have DComs. I call some of these things also on the side projects where we have to clean up our cable rooms. We have to clean up some of our space, leaning into the Six Sigma certification learning I have, taping the floor so we know exactly where everything is organized, XYZ. The big focus is organization, having our priorities aligned properly. The whole team knows exactly what's going on. Right after that, I look at my chart just to see, hey, are we destroying the customer's information? Because obviously our customers are trusting us with a bunch of information. Are we make sure we're destroying them when they ask us to destroy it? Are we make sure we're not breaching SLAs? Are we making sure we're following out OKRs? Are we still on top of everything? Just want to say San Antonio is pretty up there in OKRs. I'm not saying I'm not pointing fingers, but I'm just saying we're definitely doing what we're supposed to do in San Antonio. So I really appreciate my team for always taking care of everything. Also supporting my team one-on-ones, making sure that they feel heard, making sure that they feel supported, and they're achieving their own goals as well. Um, Collaborating with IT vendors, DCPMs, procurement team. We're always constantly purchasing things here and there. So just leaning into making sure that the space is very, we coexist smoothly. And yeah, and then the last thing was the challenge and how I overcame it. Big challenges, at least in my role, is people, change, communication, visibility, and conflict. And I can dissect this a little bit more. People, as I said, a lot of various individuals. Okay, yeah, a lot of various individuals. People can, you know, people can come in hot. Some people come in very cold. You have to know how to read body language. You have to know how to read individuals. Procedures change all the time when it comes to things that we need to take out from our system, things that we need to add. We just have to make sure that. Okay, I'll call quits. All right, thank you guys.
No, I just want to say that I think we need a separate fireside chat with you to go into all of that. That's like like gold information. Really, really, really a massive thank you for that. And I'm sure like your LinkedIn is probably like everybody's LinkedIn's are probably bursting with connections, and definitely make sure to connect with each other. What's the steepest learning curve you faced when you first started out? Acronyms. I know acronyms. Right. Let's make sure that we're moving on, and we have Edward and Rahul. Stay with us. Do not go anywhere. Edward, floor is yours.
So I'll be talking a little bit myself. So I'll try to speed run it. So hopefully it doesn't take much time. So my career, I knew that I'll be in IT field very early since I was 8. I started programming when I was 8, and I always knew that eventually I'd end up in IT. My basics were back then, it was like everyone knows programming was Pascal, which is the basics of the programming, very simple, nothing too fancy, but it was a learning curve I was taking. Of course, back then, DOS, and I was mesmerized when Microsoft back then released Windows 3.11. By these standards, I count myself as an ancient relic through all the steps of Microsoft I went. So, yeah, but my career was very simple. I started as a simple PC repair technician. I was repairing desktops. I was cloning drives and trying to fix people computers and just trying to do my best. I was always interested in the computer interfaces, and hardware was something very close to me. But later on within my career, I started going more towards programming and more of taking ownership of a whole network. That's when I became like a system administrator. And eventually, the big leap was when I started working internationally. That's my first move when I finished my studies in Scotland. I moved to Shanghai. That's where I started as an IT engineer. And I was responsible for developing IT infrastructure for the petrochemical complex. I was working for a huge company, but it was very interesting for me. Once again, it was something new for me. It was uncharted territory, and that followed me through my whole career moving forward, because I always tried to do something new, but within IT realm of things. And that shows my future progresses, 13, 15, and 15, 21. That's where I started working for the film companies. And that's I started doing the networking, and eventually I became IT manager and post-production supervisor. Not to bloat, but one of my films was nominated for Oscars, which was a huge achievement for me. And it was very nice, and I put countless hours into that. We were working nonstop with a very low budget, so it was honestly something awesome back in my days. But honestly, the most keen memories I have it when I moved. Well, not back now. I moved to Canada. So Canada was, I went up north. It's exactly almost the time when the COVID started hitting. It was already in progress. So I just moved to Canada, and I moved north to Yukon, and it's beautiful and amazing there. And I was working there as a senior tech, and I think it was one of the most cherished memories I have, because I had my hands on everything. Latest tech, we were holding beach corporations, we were holding IT infrastructure for airlines, and we had contracts with military and government. So we had our hands on everything. And on top of that, once in a while, you'll get in a helicopter, you're dropped off on the top of a mountain, with a saying, well, see you hopefully soon, and trying to fix long-range points, 30-kilometer points. So that was something really incredible. But once again, me and my wife decided to move, and that's when we came to Denmark. And one of the first roles, and that was in 2025 January, I started as a DCT in Microsoft. Data centers here are quite new. It's only free here, so it was a good chance for me because I never worked in data center, so it was for me very interesting. I started working there, and everyone asks about what skills do you need to possess, what do you need to have. I think the most important thing, and I said it from the get-go when I had an interview, I have zero skills in data center. I don't know, I know about IT, but when it comes to data center, I have zero skills, but I'm willing to learn. I have a proven track record. I jumped in many positions within IT. So that's where my future manager said, sure, let's give it a go. And that's how I became part of Microsoft family. And to be honest, I couldn't be happier. It's an awesome environment, but once again, I was speedrunning a little bit because within the first 2 months, a new position appeared as a senior IT support tech. So that's when I decided, I talked to my manager, said, listen to this position, you know my background, what do you think? Said, let's go for it. And eventually, like I think 15 days later, I got my new position as a senior IT. So right now, my position, why I love it, it's because I do all the IT-related tasks within data center, and God forbid printers are in that scope as well. But I do a lot of interesting stuff, making sure computers are running and everything's working, conference rooms. But also, I'm a partial DCT. I do DCT work. I help our DCTs and make sure the variants and all the systems are up and running, everything is updated. And when I'm bored and when I have time, I go and do some tickets for the DCTs because why not? I love hardware. I love helping out. So that's my journey. And honestly, so far, I can say that I love it. The managers are super supportive. My managers do change, but I still talk with my old managers because I'm still related as half-part DCT, and everything within the company, as everyone said, is my growth mindset. So you need to be able to learn. You don't need a lot of skills. As long as you have basics and you're willing to learn, you can become part of Microsoft. So that would be my story. And short on my daily tasks. So as I said, I come in usually much more sooner than my team does, usually 1 hour, maybe 1.5 hours early. So I start 6:30, 7-ish. I make sure that all the systems are running and up to date. I make sure that all of our secure admin workstations are running and operational. I'll check the conference rooms just to be safe. And then all of my colleagues swoop in, we have a few laughs, and we continue with the day after our coffee and the morning meetings. And sometimes we have projects. I have projects such as, let's say for today, I did some forensic investigation tasks, which are very interesting. So that's something you don't have too often. So once again, my manager said, do you want to do something extra? I said, sure. I love doing something extra. They try to keep me busy, and that's what I'm doing. I'm just running around doing things and trying to make sure that everything is up and running. So yeah, that's basically me for the most part. So I guess I did a quick speed run. So if you have any questions later on, please. Yeah.
I have a question, Edward. Well, we have you.
Yeah.
Do you want to like, I know, thankfully, what is 5 nines, but do you want to share with everybody else what is 5 nines? And because this is a very data center kind of a thingy, right?
Yes, yes. 5 nines is basically to make sure that our system's running 24/7. No matter what, we want our systems up and running. That's why we have our backups. That's why all of our data centers are interconnected. There's a special rules for where data centers build and so on. So everything is interconnected, everything is backed up. So customers have access to their data and to their resources 24/7. And Microsoft is very good on that. We have high uptimes and it's awesome. And we're trying to keep it that way.
And we also, I've put it in the chat. We do have a free course, Introduction to Data Centers, where there is a chapter about the F59s and all of the others. That's how I know that. But yes, exactly. I think it's 526 minutes per year downtime. Thank you so much. I do have, like, I know we're already 1 minute over, but perhaps we have some questions from the audience. And while you guys are typing something, the audience, in the chat, I wanted to ask Rahula, imagine you have 100 applicants with all kind of, similar CVs, right, as candidates. How do you, and we will have a session about that as well, but I wanted to touch base on that too. How do you, based on just on the CV, how would you see a potential of a candidate? How the candidate can demonstrate a potential on a resume without even talking to you? How can they show their learning agility, for example?
That's a proper question, honestly. I really appreciate you asking that. I would say the biggest thing is every data center has their own issues. And I don't want to say issues, but I'll say things that they need to get solved. For us specifically, we'll have, let's say, for example, it's a culture thing. So we want to know that you understand how to have a growth mindset, understand the technical aspect of the work, understand what the company is all about. So we look at all those behavioral aspects, and then we'll look at the technical aspects. Is this person growing every single time they go to the next job? How often do they stay inactive within their roles? How often are they contributing? How often are they producing within the company? So they need to match our culture because you're bringing them into that culture. You don't want them to change the dynamic at any point. You want them to continue that progression. I hope I answered that your question.
Yeah, thank you. And I think Nicole has a hand up as well.
Go ahead.
Yes, I would like to add to your points. As a recruiter, I've seen plenty CVs across my table, and I think that people miss out on the basic and simple things, like formatting it correctly. Does it look presentable? Does it look like you are giving effort into creating it? Is there a lot of spelling errors? Are there little notes from ChatGPT saying, here's your text? Would you like me to write it in a more polite way? It's more about the simple things as well. So it's not only the fact that, you need to have a certain set of skills. Of course, having the ability and seeing on the CV that you've completed multiple courses throughout your career, showing that, okay, I want to learn more, I want to grow, I want to develop. But one thing that I always say, and this is going to take me back to my recruitment days, and any advice I can give you is, you're looking for a position, make sure that your CV is matching the position you're looking for. If you're looking to come into a data center, write down all the skills that you may have that are linked to that position. Not come up with new skills and like, oh, maybe I will have that one day. No, it's what do you have now to bring to the table? Because it doesn't mean you have to bring the whole table, but maybe some screws, maybe a chair so that you can sit. But you need to provide that information so that when someone looks at your CV, it's not like, oh, I can't even read this. Oh, I don't have any information on what they're actually doing now. And I think that's the most important. It's being clear on what you're putting on your CV, how you're doing it, how it's being represented, like to everyone when they read it. And the best thing is send it to your friend. Say, okay, this is my CV. I would like to apply at a position. Okay, if you received my CV, like what would you think? Do you think I would be good for this job? And that's just comparing it from a job description and your CV. You need to, a lot of recruitment and hiring managers, they see a lot of CVs all the time. You need to stand out. You need to make sure that whatever you're putting on your CV is relatable to what they're looking for. Because if they don't see those keywords on, oh, maybe I want to learn and I keep learning, they're not going to think that you like to learn because you didn't tell them. And they're not going to phone you and be like, hey, Robert, I didn't see on your CV that you like to learn. Do you like to learn? They're not going to do that. Definitely not. They've got 20 million other CVs that are coming across their table as well. If they have to do that for all of them, it's not going to work out as well. So be specific, make sure that the information you have is relevant to the job. And usually that is already a good step. Sorry if you hear that, that's my son. Apologies.
Oh, hello. So we are already 6 minutes over. So I'll have this last question and then we'll close it. And the question is, Jamie's asking, I have an interview coming up. I want to hear different perspectives on this. What could I do as a new DCT to exceed expectations? And what does new hire training look like? Who wants to take that?
I mean, I can chime in. Oh, well, no, go ahead, Edward. Since you guys are in IT, I think you'll probably be the best that you guys can go.
Yeah, I'll just chime in a little bit from my side, and that's from my interview which I had. And once again, for me, it was that I always was honest about my previous experience and that I didn't have any knowledge within data centers, but also when it came to the technical questions, and I still remember that I was not 100% sure about how to answer this question. I knew it in the back of my head, but I still was not 100% sure. And back then I just said, well, first of all, I would double check it with you or my manager, how this process is supposed to flow. But from my experience, that's how it should be. But I would talk to other people, to my peers, to make sure that the process is followed. So that's one of the mindsets which you need to have, that even if you don't know, you should not be afraid to reach out to people and to ask those questions. So you need to always ask questions in Microsoft. So yeah, that's my piece of advice, I guess.
Amazing. Nicole, do you mind if we give a minute to Robert? Go ahead, Robert.
I just wanted to touch upon what Nicole was saying as well about your CV, and funnily enough, and Edward is saying you is right about asking the right questions as well. Funnily enough, when I was actually applying as a contractor here, I was thinking I was going for a data center technician position, and then I got into my interview, and it was actually for a DIAT technician, as an inventory and asset management technician. So I was completely woefully unprepared on that topic. I was thinking, oh, well, I'm going to talk about servers. I'm going to talk about, and then I started talking about inventory management and logistical part. And I was like, whoa, I'm taken aback by that. But by asking the right questions, by having an open mindset, and showing the ability, like we said before, showing the ability and a willingness to learn, you're going to get a lot farther in life. Yeah.
Absolutely. Nicole, Rahula?
Yeah, sure. So I just wanted to touch on expectations in the interview coming up. Are these your expectations or the expectations of the interviewers? Because unfortunately, we do not ever know what we can do to exceed someone else's expectations. That's on them to say, okay, well, that exceeded my expectation. But what you can do to prepare yourself for that is that if you are asked a question and you're unsure, don't say, oh, yeah, I know that, because you don't. And there's nothing wrong with the fact that you don't. You need to be open and you need to be honest. The better response would be, oh, I'm not really sure about that. Could you maybe tell me a little bit more about that? Finding out more, showing that you want to learn more. That's the only way that you can essentially exceed expectation, because everyone would just be like, oh yeah, I know that, or oh no, I don't know that, and that doesn't do anything for someone. But as soon as you start showing that you're interested and that you're trying to learn already within your interview, you're already trying to learn, that already sets you apart from a lot of others. And in terms of like new hire training, that is more set up within, let's say, 1 or 2 weeks of training, understanding the basics, and then moving on from there, where you then enter your position. So it's very dependent on the positions, but it's more training virtually on your computer, watching some trainings, getting an understanding of your environment, and then further then going into the data center and actually experiencing what you've learned.
Thank you. Rahula?
Let me just add to that real quick. And also, what all of you said is 100% accurate. But the most important thing is when you go into these interviews, please work on your STAR method. Be very pragmatic about how you're having these conversations. Tell them a situation, tell them an example, give them real life example of what's going on. One thing, and I mean, everybody does it. We get nervous in the interviews. It's normal. You're human. Practice a couple things. We have AI tools that can spitball questions for you. Ask yourself, in this situation, task, XYZ, you know, just type in STAR method honestly online. I can't remember everything, but go through those lines. Make sure you're answering those questions in a very logical way. Make sure you're adding numbers, percentage, increases, money growth, you know, all those things, especially if you're going into like numbers, data analysis, whatever. If you're going to people management, be lively, be alive, be excited to be in that interview. Talk about how you've made people grow. Like whatever interview you're going into, embody that person. Like think of the person that you want to be and then become that person. You're performing, it's an act, it's a show. Give them a good show and let them go from there. When you get into the role, hopefully you get that job. I believe in you if you follow these steps. Ask your boss, give me a detailed plan of what I need to be in 6 months. Tell your boss verbatim what you want. I'm telling you, if you don't communicate what you want in anything in life, you cannot get anything. Tell your boss what you want. They'll send you an accountability email. They'll give you a detailed plan where your next step is, where you want to be in 6 months. I want to get a promotion. What do I do in 1 year to get that promotion? Boom, 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 boom. You achieve, you execute, you send your validation emails. It's very difficult for your boss to say, I can't give it to you because you did everything they told you to do. You did it verbatim and you might even have done more because you got excited about it. Look at everything from a very surface level, direct, attack, and you'll win.
Great. Amazing. Certainly a fireside chat with all of you guys. Again, 60 minutes is not enough for us. Absolutely. I think we need to close. It's already 13 minutes past, but thank you so much, everybody. And hopefully everybody is connecting on LinkedIn and following each other. And I think just, you know, building this community is really important. Have a great rest of the day. It's almost evening in the UK already. It's like the sun is going down, maybe already went down, I don't know these days. But stay tuned. And Angela was putting in the chat the next events, and one of them is hiring managers tell all. So basically we will interrogate our hiring managers to talk a little bit more about what kind of question, what are their go-to questions on an interviews? How do they assess candidates? And what kind of secrets they can share as well. So Alex and there are a few others about cybersecurity. You can feel free to ping myself and talk about cybersecurity separately. Thank you so much, and have a great rest of the day. Cheers.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Enjoy.
Bye, guys.
Y'all, that